been a good off week. Our players needed it. We needed some rest. Got healthy. We were able to do some self-scout, get ahead on Mississippi State, so it's been a good week, and we're going to need to play our best here this week, that's for sure.
Mark, who benefited the most for you in just getting healthy-wise and from that off week?
I think the whole group, honestly. We were banged up. There's probably a few guys that wouldn't have been able to play last week. So I think that's helpful. I really don't want to get into specifics on those guys, but there was a couple starters that probably wouldn't have played last week. So, that's good. But overall, we were wore down and beat up a little bit.
Was Jordan Jones able to participate in practice some, and is he still on track?
Yeah.
Mark, a bye week can be good for coaches as well to get you recharged. How rested are you? How much recharged are you?
Yeah.
And eager to get back at it.
It is. It's nice. It feels good because not only just the half day off that you have on Saturday, which is nice. That's the first one since the beginning of July, which is always nice. But I think just mentally last week, going back and looking at yourself, we're in there working every day, of course, but just scouting yourself and looking at the things you did good, the things you did bad, areas you can improve, and then obviously game planning for Mississippi State. But just I think the mental stress for a few days, was definitely good for the whole staff.
Or did Eli do enough while Jordan was out to earn a bigger role, even if Jordan's 100% healthy?
Yes, he definitely did. It's nice because both of those guys and Eli realized real quick. That's what I've been talking to him about. He realizes when he's got to play that many snaps, he's got to get more physical and put on some weight and lift some more weights and all those things. And he has. He's really, this past year, he's really trying to take it to another level, and he's playing better. But you could tell from going through a schedule like that you have to be physical, and it's good to have depth. So it'd be nice to have both of those guys.
Mark, you've talked about how you guys might play better on the road because there's less distractions and easier to just go out there and play. Is that specific to this program or this team, or is that something you've always seen as a coach?
No, I think you've seen that from time to time, and you have to embrace the challenge, whether it's at home or on the road. And sometimes I felt like as a coach and through the years that it's good sometimes to load up and get on the road. And as I told you, playing the Missouri game after their bye, I knew that they were coming in here. It was probably better for them at that point to get on the road. Sometimes you feel like that. Now we're playing good football, and we have to be able to play well at home or on the road.
What are the challenges of defending against you?
Well, he's the dual threat, as we talk about all the time, but also I think he's just so physical. He's a big, strong guy and can throw the ball, and certainly can physically handle designed quarterback runs. And so I think he's just a very tough runner and puts a lot of pressure on you.
Mark, after 6 games, what's the thing you're most pleased about with this team?
Well, the bottom line is we've won 5 games, which is very good. We are doing very good in turnover margin, and I think the team has found ways to win when maybe the other side is not playing its best, and finding ways to win and put yourself in a position to win football games is the bottom line. And I think this team has done that very well.
With a guy like Fitzgerald, does it put any particular stress on the position or player defensively?
It always puts stress on the back end because you have to play with numbers, and especially quarterback run game and designed quarterback run game. Not only just pulling the ball down and scrambling, but designed quarterback run games or run game puts a little pressure on the entire defense, and so I think you can see that on the back end. At times it depends on what coverage you're in or what you're doing.
You suggested that maybe some of those issues in pass defense last week were easy fixes. Did you maybe get to zero in on some of those things during the bye week?
Yeah, I mean that in a way easy fixing that, looking at the way, the what happened, the structure of it. Again, you've heard me say a lot that depending on who you're playing and the personnel that you're playing against, they're going to put you in bind. They're going to put you in stressful situations. You have to be able to win. It's just fundamentally the breakdowns. That's what I mean by the easy fix. Maybe easy in theory and hard in application at times, right? That's a cornerback's life.
Courtney Love won one of those prestigious service awards out there. As a head football coach, can you talk about how that type of servant leadership off the field translates into wins on the field?
Yeah, as I've said many times, does not surprise me with Courtney. Just the type of person that he is, and the type of leader that he is, and very unselfish, and he's just a special guy. He comes from very difficult situations, has made the most of it, has overcome a lot. And I think anytime you have a player like that, it's ultimate respect, whether it be from the coaches or from his peers.
How much do you think you'll need to lean on maybe some of the freshmen on both sides of the ball down the back half of the season?
Pardon me? Who? Yeah, I think you always hope those guys get better as the year goes on, and you want to get them some quality reps. And you're starting to see that with Lynn is one guy that jumps out at you, and really all the the receiver position. Isaiah, is doing some good things, and so we're getting better. I'd like to see those guys play a few more snaps as we go.
Mark, you guys are right there in the SEC race, which is where you want to be, of course. Just having the bye week, giving your kids a chance to kind of watch other games, see other teams. You feel like that might help a little bit in that regard, just to see where you're at and that sort of stuff?
I think it was enjoyable just to sit back and have that half day off. Most of our coaches were on the road. Some of us got back Saturday afternoon. Some guys got back Sunday. But I think for our players, it's good just to have the day off. I don't know if it means anything as far as where we're at. We our players know enough to know by now that it's a 1 week season. Let's just take care of business and do the best we can this week. You can't look ahead. You look ahead, you're going to get knocked down real quick.
Mark, could you clarify some of the comments you made on your call-in show this past week? I think a caller had asked about Nick Saban and how he dealt with the positivity in his program, and you seem to imply that maybe there was an air of negativity.
I don't need to get into that, but I don't have the same problems he does. I think we all know that, right? So that's kind of what I meant by that. I don't think I have to fight that battle. So.
Mark, in terms of offensive line improvement, did you get?
But I will say he does a phenomenal job with that. You can't help but they have a bullseye on their chest every week, and he does have to combat that, and he does have to combat his players hearing about how good they are individually all the time. So there's a lot to it, and we have a guy or two here or there got to talk about that, but not the same issues. So.
In terms of offensive line improvement, did you get from the open league?
Yeah, we did. I think we're starting to find a good mixture the way we have it now with Drake playing at center and Bunchy playing more guard. I think that helps. I think Nick's situation and his health is a big key to us as we move forward and trying to get Nick his weight and his strength back up.
Is that a big week for him in particular then, just to regroup with him a little bit?
It is important for him. I had an opportunity to see Nick this weekend and spend some time with him Saturday afternoon, and he looked rested and feeling good, but it's still one thing to be rested, but to put on the weight that's necessary, it's hard.
You mentioned this past week that while he's not in the game, that a lot of the younger guys are leaning on him and he feels a part of it. Have you seen that leadership and seen some of those younger guys looking to him in moments of stress or problems?
Yeah, you're talking about Nick still, right? Yeah, definitely. Nick is one of the leaders on this football team, and has a lot of experience at offensive line. He's played a lot of positions. He's very versatile, and I think the players have great respect for him, both on the offensive line and at all positions. And I think he's very helpful and been very unselfish through this process.
Could you talk a little bit about what Drake has brought to the center spot?
Well, he's brought some consistency. You know, he gives us depth. He gives us another number, and fundamentally, he's doing a very good job.
He's got a big challenge this coming week. Any plans to get him a little help?
What's that?
With Drake.
Well, just by the way we play in general, there's times when the center gets some protection and some help. So he will have he will have a challenge as the year goes on. Just we play some very talented defensive linemen. So but I think all of our linemen will tell you that. Welcome to the league. But he's done a really good job. He's responded well. So, you know, the great thing about Drake is he's always been a fundamental football player. He's getting experience now. He's been consistent in the snaps, but he's a fundamental guy, and really that's what you need on offensive line. Obviously, size and strength and athletic ability is very important, but also it's a technique game there.
What makes Mississippi State's defense so effective?
They're disruptive. Todd does a great job. You know, they're multiple. They've always been athletic, just big and long, and got good-looking players, and they're very disruptive. And again, I think Todd Grantham does a very good job with them of keeping you off balance.
Back to Drake, how much does it help him to get not only to gain experience, but to see himself on video in a game as opposed to going against the same guys in practice every day?
I think it's real important, and I think that's always the case. When guys get into games, because we see them at practice all the time, and how a guy responds in a game-like situation is always a little bit different. And so there's no replacing game reps. And, the more reps he gets, the more comfortable he gets, I think the better he's going to get.
Mark, any update you think Brian Luke and when his timetable will be back?
Yeah, just the same as I gave you last week is that that all the reports that are coming back have been positive, and that things look good and are looking better, and everything's been steady since that episode he had on the sidelines. So hopefully he'll continue to recover well, and they're checking to see whether he could travel with us this week.
How has the secondary responded to some struggles in the Missouri game?
Yeah, I think it was good week for us last week. Number one, to get a little bit of rest, to get their legs back up underneath them so we could play fast and finish this season strong. I think it was good fundamentally to look at some of the issues that we've had and try to get them corrected. It was also good to get some fastball work against our offense, to go good against good, to get the speed that we need to see in practice. And so it was overall very helpful for us.
Mark, do you think that the tempo that Missouri played with caused the defense some issues?
Oh, there's no doubt it causes some. Yeah, I think there's no doubt. I mean, that's why teams do that. There's advantages and disadvantages to a lot of things, but that's definitely one that causes some issue at times. Yes, and so.
Did it make you feel any better that they did the same thing to Georgia?
Well,
63-yard touchdown.
it didn't make me feel better, but at all. But I was basically saying I feel your pain. So that's a great defense and a great team. We all know, and to see them strike that fast, that early, is helpful and is very difficult. But what helped them and it helped us at times is if their offense can get going as well and possess the ball a little bit and keep them off the field. That's what makes a difference when you're playing the high tempo, and that's just difference of philosophy. Obviously, there's teams in the Big 12 that are very, very hard to defend. Missouri's a lot like that.
Any other questions? Anyone else? No. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.